On News 5 Live, teachers riled up. They want an apology from PM Briceño. Unions produce evidence of their fiscal sacrifices. And consumers catch a break on water bills during COVID-19. These stories and more coming up in tonight's newscast.
In these challenging times, the one thing that is certain is that the Belize Bank Limited is here for you. There is nothing more important than your health and safety, and we continue to make every effort to make banking safer for you. Our staff is working around the clock to make sure you can do your banking conveniently 24/7 using our mobile banking app and online banking and keeping ATMs up and running. We value your relationship with us and are here to provide the support you need. First responders are also out there 24/7. Thank you, healthcare workers, security forces, firefighters, caregivers. You are all appreciated. Stay safe. We will get through this together. The Belize Bank, our country, your bank.
It's a fact that you can access unlimited services with Smart. Tired of being measured or cut off when you need to be connected? It's a fact that when you sign up for Smart's Plus plan, you get unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data. And it's a fact that you can sign up with your group of up to 5 members for Smart's Share plans and up to 40 members for Smart's Enterprise plans for unlimited talk, text, and data. Smart has the true unlimited plans. That's a fact. Be smart and live smart.
I was born 59 years ago in the same house where I'm living right now. And I take care of the office with my wife together. I know I have customers for the last 30 years. I'm proud to say that RFG has the right word sentence on the logo. It says it pays to get it right. And we have good service of paying claims.
I am your neighbor. I am your friend. I am your RF&G insurance agent.
Find your nearest RF&G agent on our website at rfginsuranceBelize.com, where it pays to get it right.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank. Good evening. Welcome to News 5 Live for Thursday, March 11th. I am Sabrina Daly. On Wednesday's news, viewers saw teachers from Stand Creek join a motorcade to express displeasure at the government's proposed salary cut and increment freeze for teachers and public officers for 3 years. What you may not know is at the same time on Wednesday in Belize City, the Council of Management of the Belize National Teachers Union was meeting with Deputy Prime Minister Cordell Hyde and Education Minister Francis Fonseca. The BNTU was seeking clarification on the proposed cut and also made recommendations to the government. But by the end of the meeting, they say it became apparent this was already a done deal. To make matters worse, Prime Minister John Briceño was at the City Council swearing in, telling the media, quote, "The teachers and the public service have not had any sacrifices," unquote. National President of the BNTU, Senator Elena Smith, says the teachers demand an apology.
In the meeting yesterday, as we did before, we've asked them clearly if that was their final position. And we were told yesterday by the Deputy Prime Minister that they are not hard and fast on those proposals. That the reason why they are coming to us is for us to discuss these matters and come up with, I guess, the best solutions. We know that this is not going to be an easy fight. Because while we hear a certain person saying one thing, then we hear other person saying another thing. And to add to it was a comment made by the Prime Minister that teachers and public officers are the ones who have not sacrificed anything. And so that certainly did not sit well with our teachers. And for our Prime Minister of this country to look at our teachers when the person closest to him is a teacher and say that we have not sacrificed anything is out of order and disappointing, to say the least. Because having a teacher in his home, he should understand what teachers have to go through, what we have to do on a daily basis to carry out our responsibilities as teachers, how much we have to sacrifice from our own families, taking things from your homes and taking them to school just to do your job. So his statement has really gotten our teachers riled up, and I hope that he would reconsider and he would apologize to our teachers for that statement.
On March 15th, the BNTU will issue a counter-proposal to GOB, which is expected to be discussed in Cabinet. But the Firebrand Union is monitoring the situation very closely and has developed a plan of action. The green BNTU T-shirts will be worn on days when teachers report to school. There will be a series of social media updates and simultaneous motorcades next week, candlelight vigil, and a series of other activities leading up to a press conference on March 26th, the same day the budget will be presented at the House. But will the teachers strike? Here's how Senator Elena Smith responded to that question.
As a union, we don't instruct our teachers, all right? Our members instruct us. And so as the president, I have no choice but to go with the mandate of the majority of our branches. So we have 10 branches. Once 6 branches say we'll do X, we have no choice. The other 4 have to follow behind and do. And I have no choice but to do what they say I must do. So that's how we operate. So we have agreed, yes, on a series of activities for right now. And our teachers know, and I guess people know, that when they see those green shirts coming out, they know that something is happening. So something might be happening, I don't know.
Strike action, Senator?
Well, I don't know. We are just starting out, Dwayne. We have to go back to our people, inform them of what the decision is, see if there's going to be counter proposals. So we have to have activities to match what is going on. And depending on what they give us, we want to see what will be presented in the House on that day. And so we will be using that to speak to our teachers via press conference. We have been known as a union that stands up for everything, and we are not cowards. There are times when people don't understand the way we move because people don't understand our constitution and how we operate our procedures. But when we get to that point where our teachers have given us a mandate, then it's straight shooting from there. There's no turning back. Once we get to that point, there's no turning back. And I will tell you this, that once our teachers get to the point where they have had enough, it doesn't matter if it is the government that they support or not. Our teachers will come out. Red, blue, green, yellow, they will come out. And so as leaders, that is the reason why we have to be very, I don't want to say careful, but we have to ensure that we follow proper procedures and that when we act, the timing is right.
The members of law enforcement agencies are also recognized as public officers, and so they too would be subject to the 10% salary cut and increment freeze proposed by government. It has not been sitting well with officers at the Belize Police Department, and so today, during a virtual interview with Commissioner of Police Chester Williams, he explains that he would rather take a pay cut than see retrenchment.
I don't think the constraint was brought about by anybody, but rather by a pandemic. And we have been in this for almost an year now, that the government have to be struggling to find monies to continue to operate. And so me personally, I would rather take the 10% cut than to see the government having to resort to firing people. If I get a 10% cut, I still have a job. And I may also save other people from being laid off. And so I would rather see it that way as opposed to towing a very hard line of not cutting, and then the government decide that they are going to cut staff to be able to meet the emoluments of its employees.
The Police Association will be meeting with its members to take a position on the proposed salary cut. Amid talks of a looming salary cut for teachers and public officers, the Public Service Union has proceeded to painstakingly calculate the losses that would be incurred by its membership at various levels over the 3-year period in question. Their charts made the rounds on Facebook and WhatsApp today. According to Vice President Dean Flowers, the quantum of losses is greater than what government ministers would be giving up over the same length of time.
The only bit of information that I can speak to is as it relates to a table which clearly depicts how a public officer is able to calculate the quantum of loss that they would suffer over their remaining life in the public service whenever they give up an increment. And so I believe that may be one of the documents you're looking at. I believe in the examples that we shared with members, you would see that the pay scale is highlighted, and attached to that pay scale, we would also include the increment that level of employee would receive. If that individual gives up his or her increment, what needs to be taken into consideration is the remaining years for which that individual will not be carrying that increment with him or her. And so we simply take that value and we multiply it by his or her remaining years in the service to get the amount of money that will be lost in that specific fiscal year. Thereafter, you would have to do the same thing for each subsequent year, while at the same time reducing the remaining years in the service.
Coming up, the Prime Minister weighs in on the Director of Health Services controversy. Stay with us.
I know him before he in my womb. From I know he nobody ever disrespected him. Because then he is who he is. He is gay, he is friendly, and everybody respectable. Just respect him for who he is in a human being. Just the word hate means to me that no got no meaning because you're not for hate. If you love everything, I appreciate. I live in Belmopan, I live around Guatemalans, Hondurans, Spanish, Maya, Creole, Garifuna. As I said, growing up, right? They say love your neighbors. Neighbor need to look out for one another.
Digi y el Banco Nacional de Belice se enorgullecen de asociarse con el gobierno de Belice para facilitar el desembolso de los fondos de la transferencia de efectivo COVID-19 de Belice a través de nuestra plataforma segura y fácil de usar MobilePays. Después de obtener la aprobación como beneficiario de los fondos de ayuda, se le informará por SMS cuando su pago mensual haya sido depositado en su cuenta de MobilePays, a qué tienda Digi o sucursal de Banco Nacional se le asignó y cuándo puede ir a cobrar. Debe traer consigo el teléfono al que se le envió la notificación para presentar su número de cuenta y para recibir su código de validación y recibo. También debe traer su tarjeta de seguro social válida. Después de que su información sea verificada, recibirá un código de validación que deberá dar al agente. El agente le entregará el monto total de los fondos asignados para ese mes y usted recibirá un recibo vía SMS con un número único de transacción. Digi y el Banco Nacional de Belice están comprometidos con el desarrollo de servicios innovadores en beneficio de todos los beliceños.
The contamination of water we all depend on is a very urgent issue. As Belize's popularity and industries grow, challenges increase. In this episode, we will examine the issue of water pollution in Belize. Water pollution is the contamination of water bodies, usually because of human activities. Water bodies include lagoons, rivers, aquifers, and oceans. On the marine side, the discharge of sewage and bilge water from cruise ships and other live-aboard vessels, in combination with unregulated development of coastal areas, has led to the degradation of marine ecosystems such as mangroves and coral reefs. Our inland waters are facing their own challenges. As agricultural development increases, pesticides, fertilizers, and waste products are running off into rivers. Increased river traffic from boat tours and sugar barges adds to the already stressful conditions of the freshwater ecosystems. In addition, companies that collect sewage sometimes dump the waste right into the waterways. Additionally, in densely populated areas like Belize City and Orange Walk, poor sewage designs result in the contamination of groundwater and of water bodies by both sewage and wash water. In many cases, homes and businesses dump their wastewater directly into drains, which leads to rivers and the sea. Wastewater, detergents, and petroleum collect in drains that empty into waterways, such as the New River and the Belize River. This, along with the runoff and discharges from the agricultural and industrial businesses, have been inadequately monitored and enforced. The answers to overcoming water pollution issues are fourfold: improved infrastructure, adequate treatment, increased legislation and monitoring, and of course, changing our habits for the better. While it is urgent that better management on a policy level is needed, there are a few things we can do at home to help. Ensure proper treatment systems are installed for all wastewater at your home and business. Don't dispose of oil from your automobiles or cooking and household detergents down the drain. And lastly, minimize the usage of chemicals and fertilizers and report any dumping into waterways to the Department of the Environment. The government has recognized the threat of inadequate liquid waste management and is working toward goals of reducing and reversing its effects. For more information on what's being done about water pollution and ways you can help, visit our website at doe.gov.bz. I'm Alison Castillo, and now you know.
On Tuesday morning, Reginaldo Ruiz was murdered in broad daylight in front of patrons and vendors at the Belmopan Market Plaza. The fish vendor was at his stall when a gunman opened fire on him. As Ruiz took his last breath, the gunman, according to witnesses, escaped on a horse from the area. Today, News 5 spoke to Compal Chester Williams, who says information suggests that Ruiz had been threatened about a week ago.
The police have responded very swiftly to that incident. The sad part is that those persons who witnessed what took place are unwilling to cooperate. And so while I believe that we know who the person is that is responsible, we have not been able to lay charges against that person, as we have not been, the witnesses have not been forthcoming in giving statements. But we're not going to give up. We're going to continue to push and see if we will be able to gather the evidence needed to be able to lay charges against the person who's responsible.
Are there any that area that captured the shooter escaping on a horse?
I'm not going to comment on that at this time. It's a part of our investigation process. So.
Has the investigation revealed a motive? I mean, what could have angered or enraged someone to just come middle of the day in a marketplace to carry out such
I don't want to speak about the past of the deceased victim, but he do have a past, and from what we have gathered is that he was receiving threats from sometime last week, but he did not took the threat seriously, and we believe believe that it was the same persons who were threatening him who actually came for him.
The plight of Dr. Marvin Manzanero, the embattled Director of Health Services, is unresolved, despite the fact that his duties have been delegated to others in the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Earlier today, the National Trade Union Congress of Belize issued a statement condemning the manner in which the ministry has handled the issue. The NTUCB also expressed disappointment with the actions taken by the Chief Executive Officer and the Minister of Health and Wellness. In supporting the position taken by the Association of Public Services Senior Manager, the umbrella organization states that the notion that Dr. Manzanero may be guilty of misconduct in carrying out his duties as DHS is unacceptable. But according to Prime Minister John Briceño, the Director of Health Services failed to curb the number of COVID-19 infections since the pandemic began in 2020.
Whilst we appreciate the work that Dr. Manza did earlier on, when there were so many unknowns, Dr. Manza failed in controlling the spread of COVID. There are many reasons, and we don't have to go down that road. The point is that he failed, and we promised the Belizean people that we were going to do something about it and we're going to fix it. And here we brought a woman, and that's what you should be talking, I mean the media, that here we brought in a woman, a doctor, and I know that some people are just honing on to the idea because she's a Musa. She's a Diaz before. She was married to a Musa. That came in and put a team together and flattened that curve. When we had sometimes as much as 10 people dying a day, here we are now today, that we have flattened the curve from over 5,000 to less than 100. And we don't have as many people, thank God, that are dying.
The decision to sideline Dr. Manzanero from his duties as the legally appointed and commissioned Director of Health Services has raised the ire of many in the public service. While the Prime Minister agrees with and supports the decision to have him replaced, he admits that the manner in which Dr. Manza was benched could have been handled differently.
I stand by the decision. Now, we could have taken a different approach or a better approach, but the decision was the right decision. Look at the facts. Dr. Manzanero was a DHS for some time now, and he was the person at the head handling the COVID spread, and he was unsuccessful. Now, could we have handled it? Could we have then asked Dr. Manzanero to step down in a better fashion? Of course we could have, and that is what I said, that we could have handled it differently so that we would not have this issue at this time. But something had to be done, and we made the right decision, and I stand by that decision.
So when you say that it could be handled differently, does that mean that you don't agree with the current misconduct allegations?
Well, I don't want to go down that road because there is some serious allegations there, but I would not have done that. I would have simply told Dr. Manzanero, I would have asked Dr. Manzanero, your time is up. We need to you don't become DHS for the rest of your life.
Belize will not be signing on to an International Monetary Fund program to work our way out of the financial crunch brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic. That's the decision taken by the Briceño administration, following a series of meetings with the IMF. It harkens back to a similar decision taken by the Musa administration in 2005, when government was also faced with harsh economic headwinds. Despite IMF's prescription, Belize's economy was able to rebound using a homegrown economic recovery strategy. In short, PM Briceño says Belize does have the talent to deal with this on our own.
As a country and as responsible leaders, I think we have a better understanding as to what we're going through. We have people with the expertise and with the ideas to be able to put a full homegrown economic recovery plan, as opposed to have people outside of Belize imposing on us what is it that we need to do. We know what we have to do. We have done it before, you know. Remember in 2005 when we met with the IMF, we came up with our own homegrown economic recovery plan that when we left, the former Prime Minister then had to admit that we left a primary balance in the budget and that the deficit was less than 1% of GDP. We've done that before. Right now, we are facing a primary balance of negative 9% of GDP. That means we don't have enough money to pay the light bill. That's how bad it is. And we're going to have an overall economic deficit, a budget deficit of about almost 13% of GDP.
After the break, Belize scores high marks for protecting the reef and fish species.
Start your year with a win with Bellikin and its new promotion, Papa Stopper. Yes, sir. Every time you pop one stopper off our Bellikin, make sure you check under the crown. If you see one bottle shape, you win one free Bellikin. If you see one ball, you win $20. If you see one star, you win $100. And once you see one diamond, you win $1,000. Sure, Bellikin again, you know. Papa Stopper. When you pop a stopper off a Bellikin, check to see if you're a winner. You can collect your free beer or $20 cash prize at the store nearest to you. If you win $100 or $1,000, redeem your prize at the nearest B&B sales center.
Promotion is valid until Saturday, March 27th or while supplies last.
Papa Stopper!
Bellikin, the beer of Belize.
Congratulations to our Bellikin Papa Stopper winners today. Continue popping those stoppers off of Bellikin for a chance to win free beer, $20, $100, or $1,000.
Papa Stopper!
Bellikin, the beer of Belize.
At Benquip, we offer a complete line of Honda products featuring the most trusted and reliable line of motorcycles in Belize. For outdoor and marine recreation, we have Polaris ATVs and UTVs, Volvo Pentamarine Solutions, Honda Outboards, and Best Sport Kayaks. When it's time to service your vehicle or equipment, you can find the brands you trust at Benquip. We carry a large inventory of Castrol oils, NGK spark plugs, and a full range of cleaning products from Magic. Get power when you need it with trade winds and Honda generators. For those businesses looking for increased productivity and a safe working environment, our proven and respective line of TCM forklifts will not let you down. We also have trimmers and lawnmowers from Honda and Husqvarna, so you can keep your yard and surroundings properly maintained. So visit Benquip today at 3 miles on the Philip Golson Highway to get the equipment, parts, and service you need.
What a beautiful morning in Popsville. Time to check the crops. Uh-oh, the insects are back. Farmer Ricky plans to double his dosage to get rid of these pests once and for all. Oh no, no more insecticide. Well, off to the store we go. Hey, it's good old Joe.
Good morning, Joe. I'd like to get 4 bottles of Compound V, please. I'm double dosing to fight back the insects.
Compound V, you said? It doesn't sound familiar.
Let me see what you have.
Ricky, where did you get this product? It doesn't have proper label information and could be filled with highly hazardous chemicals called persistent organic pollutants. You should really get one that's POPs free, which is safer and approved for pest control. Ricky, it's time we talked about the dangers of misusing highly toxic pesticides. Some pesticides contain highly hazardous ingredients that can harm you and your loved ones if handled incorrectly. So when we improperly store pesticides, it can affect our health in the long and short term. To be safe, make sure to remember these following tips to avoid unnecessary chemical exposure. It's important to always read your label fully before using any treatment on your crops. To avoid dangerous contact with pesticides, including airborne insecticides, make sure to wear appropriate personal protective equipment. Apply the recommended chemical dosage and use far away from human contact and from active winds. To avoid cross-contamination, make sure to follow these simple steps to dispose of pesticide containers. And no matter what you do, don't throw it in any old waste bin. Always make sure to triple rinse, puncture and store separately for proper disposal. And for an even safer approach to pesticide use, consider switching to organic farming and other integrated pest management processes. For more information on how to dispose of hazardous pesticides, contact your local waste management agency or visit stopthepops.com for more details. Sometimes danger lurks where you least expect it. The more you know, the healthier you can grow.
The Belize Water Services Limited says that customer arrears are piling up to a tune of over $2 million as a result of the economic crunch caused by COVID-19 unemployment and income loss. So now, BWSL wants to help you to help them by providing you with incentives to pay your water bills. It's being done through a residential amnesty program, where customers must show proof of economic hardships to qualify. According to the BWSL, thousands of their customers have been struggling to meet their monthly water bill since April of 2020, and now they have come up with this program to help those individuals whose accounts are 3 months or more in default. But if you pay your bills early, you can also save. PR manager Hayden Brown explains the program.
We have over 8,000 customers affected in this program that we're targeting now. So that's basically the number we're looking at. I know that even prior to this launching of the amnesty program, we have had about more or less about 3,000 customers who have come in querying and asking, how they could, how we can facilitate this exact process. And so between them asking and us seeing the need, because certainly cash is an important component for a business to continue to run. And so part of our duty to try and help our customer, we came up with the amnesty program. There are two components to it. There is the persons who are in arrears component. And so for those persons who are 3 months and older, we are offering a rebate to these individuals of 10% on every payment they make towards their outstanding arrears. We're also offering for early payment individuals. We do have customers who still meet their commitment, and we appreciate them very much. So as a part of our appreciation, we're giving them 5% rebate, which is automatic. That's not something that they need to apply for. While with the rebate for those persons in arrears, we are asking them to come in and sit down with our customer service representatives, who would then walk them through a plan where they would sit them through a plan where they would discuss their capability of making payments, affordable payments, that is, and then put them on a plan. The program runs for the next 3 months. It runs up to May 31st for the next 3 months. And even though it runs up to that point, the payment plan can be extended beyond that. I mean, in terms of people's capability or capacity to repay, In terms of the early pay, you are required to pay 5 days before your due date to be able to get that 5% rebate for those persons who are paying early. So that's the only caveat where they would need to pay early.
On Wednesday night, the organizers of Reef Week held a virtual panel discussion to talk about the blue economy. As you are aware, there is a new government ministry which includes the blue economy led by Minister Andre Paris. So, to talk about what the emerging concept constitutes, as well as the challenges and opportunities, the featured presenter was the Minister of Maritime Affairs and the Blue Economy of Barbados, Kirk Humphrey. He shared some of his island's best practices of sustainable use ocean resources for economic growth, improved livelihoods, and employment while balancing the health of the ecosystem.
The three things that I always focus on when I speak of the blue economy. The blue economy will always be about production. How do we produce from the ocean? But also importantly, will also be about preservation. How do we produce in a way that allows us to preserve these very important marine resources that we have? And then most importantly, it's about people. So you have to produce and preserve on behalf of people, and to make sure that people benefit from any conversation about the blue economy. We have to be sustainable in the way we approach these things. And what do I mean by that? I want for my fishermen and my fisher folk to generate as much revenue as possible from any activity in which they're engaged. So for fishermen, when they catch fish, normally we did a study where they said about 30% to 70%, depending on the fish, is wasted. That's like the head, the tail, the bones, a significant part of it. So we're now taking that, what was wasted, and using it to create fish silage. We're using it for biofuel, so that you use 100% of the fish, and hopefully that revenue can also come back to the fishermen or the fisher folk, and that's part of the whole circular economy. But you went with FAO, we're looking at new ways now of being able to loin fish. So you catch a tuna. In Barbados, what we call head and gut. You cut off the head, you cut off the gut, and you sell the fish. But if you loin the fish, you can actually make more money. So we're working on a loining, so you don't catch more fish, so you're not draining the resources, but you actually make more money from the fish that you catch, and that goes directly to the fishermen.
Belize's first minister of the blue economy, Andre Paris, was also a presenter on the panel.
I think our message to our Belizean people is that it is important we understand that despite the COVID-19 that we are going through right now, it is even becoming more important for small developing states like us to now look at the blue economy for economic growth and stability. But it's high time that we as Belizeans begin to look at what the blue economy is. And we, yes, as part of the government, we have to strengthen and innovate in the traditional sectors like the fisheries and tourism. But we must now actually develop plans at new areas. We also have to ensure that while we strategize for growth, we need to put in place safeguards for the requisite social protection to allow for equity in terms of access and opportunities to participate in blue economy. We need to come up with a strategic plan. So by the end of 2021, we must be able to have access the different IFIs and all the different organizations that have these funds are available via the blue economy.
The Healthy Reefs Initiative has released the 2021 eco-audit of the Mesoamerican reef countries, which include Belize, Mexico, Guatemala, and Honduras. The study evaluates the region's efforts to protect and sustainably manage the coral reefs. Compared to the 2016 audit, the latest report shows Belize's reef score has surpassed the other three countries. Healthy Reefs for Healthy People created a summary of the findings.
Belize's overall eco-audit score slightly increased from 68% in 2016 to 70% this year. Belize expanded the Zapadilla Keys Marine Reserve to better manage resources on our side of the amazing Cayman Crown Reef. This increases the percent of territorial sea included in gazetted marine protected areas and demonstrates a collaborative approach to science and conservation. The revised Fisheries Act empowers fishers with specific rights-based benefits countrywide, raising this action from 40 to 100% implementation. We now have a total of 8 recommendations that have been fully implemented, more than any other country. Belize has some important emerging efforts to engage our private sector directly in conservation, such as the Fish Right, Eat Right campaign, which should help us achieve more sustainable seafood. But overall, there is not a high level of private sector engagement or incentives offered by the government. Belize also urgently needs to improve sewage treatment facilities given our growing population, and this indicator has not improved at all over the last decade.
2021 Eco Audit is now in, and Belize has again secured the highest score, with 70% of the recommended management actions now complete. This is followed closely by Honduras, Mexico, and Guatemala. Since our last Eco Audit in 2016, the regional score increased from 62 to 66%, with Honduras and Guatemala having the largest gains. 12 of the indicators increased, 10 remained the same, and 6 actually declined. Sewage and sanitation finally had a substantial increase, going from 46 to 56%, with all 3 indicators having an increase. Ecosystem-based fisheries increased from 60 to 72%, with parrotfish protections now across the Mar and several other increases in the protection of fish spawning aggregations. Marine protected areas, though, actually had a decrease from 70 to 66%, primarily because we finally adjusted the criteria up to our actual target of 20% in full protection.
When we return, he needed their help during COVID-19. But now one recovered patient says thank you to his local polyclinic.
Lord, patience with them people out here. I want to talk to the one who sit on the street, they hold their mask, they dangle it from their hand like this, or they put their mask on their chin like that, or put it round their neck like so. Or worse, they one will like to hang it from their neck like that chain. Then when they see the police they come, they hurry put the mask on their face. You don't understand the harm you do to yourself. And not only to you, to other people too. If you want to be infected with the COVID-19 virus, go through. But you have to understand, all of we are affected by your fool action. Not just you. People like say they can't take the mask. What do you think better? Deal with the mask fairly well or end up in a hospital? If somebody not live in the same house with you, you have to wear a mask when you're there with them. Even if they're your family or your company, you still need to wear the mask. Everybody you meet could have COVID-19. When you wear the mask the correct way, if you cover your whole nose, your whole mouth, and your chin, that's how we will protect all of we.
A message from the Pan American Health Organization, World Health Organization, the European Union, and the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Preparing for the club, y'all gonna get it up like house. Yeah, the night is going fine. All the ladies on the dime like house. Let's dance and raise it up. No, we cannot get enough like house. Shine on with Lighthouse Lager.
Are you traveling? Effective January 26, all passengers traveling internationally will need to get tested no more than 3 days before you travel to the United States and show your negative result to the airline before you board your flight. Here at Caring Hands Clinic in San Pedro, we administer the antigen test, frequently referred to as a rapid test. Our products are CDC compliant and FDA approved. Testing has never been this easy. With our highly certified and licensed medical staff, we provide you with an accurate test result in minutes, making your experience fast, safe, and easy. To book your appointments today, contact us on any of our hotlines at 671-TEST or 672-TEST, 226-FAST, or our Vonage line at 305-420-6203. Book your appointments online at www.belizecovidtest.com. Caring Hands Clinic Antigen Test Center. We're pleased to serve you.
Currently, we're using Smart Elite Vibe Calling Plan. We use it interbranch,
We use it to call outside, and we also use it to call internationally. It's far cheaper than what we used to have before. Our equipment are new, PBX box is new. So the PBX is very good because I can call to my Sartaneja branch, I can call to my Kikaker branch, I can call to San Pedro branch, and there's no cost using the PBX. Actually right now, since we're in different locations, I can call main office from where I am at a no cost using the PBX system. I would recommend it, sure I would, especially the big enterprises who has a lot of employees. There's a lot of reduction in costs, 50% of saving. Put that on a year, it's a lot of money that we're saving. Money that we could return to our members since we give back dividend to our members.
Visit our showroom or call 670-6710 to find out how Smart's corporate plan and PBX systems can benefit your business. Consultation is free.
Just about everyone has complained at some point or another about the lengthy wait for replacement passports or nationality certificates. Well, there may be some relief in sight. The International Organization for Migration has signed an agreement to provide digital support to the Department of Nationality and Passport Records Management Unit. This should help upgrade the current system, which dates back to the 1970s, and expedite the replacement of lost, mutilated, or damaged permanent residency and nationality certificates. This will not only help Belizeans, but also immigrants, since by law they must obtain permanent residency before they can become citizens. The IOM has signed a similar agreement with the Ministry of Human Development, Families and Indigenous Peoples Affairs to support the Anti-Trafficking in Persons Council. The plan is to retool their case management software, FamCare, to include a trafficking in persons case management and data collection module. According to the Ministry of Human Development, they have been investing heavily to create timely and secure online systems for case workers, supervisors, and managers. If you live in Hopkins or visit that area often, you will be pleased to hear that the road is going to be improved. This week, a partnership between the public and private sector for the road work took shape with the signing of a memorandum of understanding between the Belize Tourist Board, the Ministry of Infrastructure Development and Housing, and private tourism businesses in the area. The joint project will cost around $850,000. The 1.2 miles to be paved is a portion from Garimaya Gift Shop, where the existing pavement ends, down to the beaches and Dreams Hotel. Belize and Taiwan have signed the 2021 to 2025 Memorandum of Understanding on Bilateral Cooperation. Minister of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Trade and Immigration of Belize, Eamon Courtney, and Taiwanese Ambassador Remus Lee Kuo Shen signed the document at the Lang Building on Wednesday. According to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the MOU extends to 2017 to 2020 agreement. The MFA says both governments are committed to deepening cooperation and collaboration in areas such as public health, agriculture, trade, education, women's empowerment, and environment. The 5-year plan will also safeguard the welfare of the citizens of both countries. As the COVID-19 active cases continue on their downward trend, many recovered patients are at home with their families. Now, one is giving back to his community clinic. In Independence Village this morning, the polyclinic received a brand new desktop computer, printers, standing fans, refrigerator, and bed sheets courtesy of COVID-19 survivor Jose Lafarga. Lafarga, Chairlady Elizabeth Zabanet, and the Village Council partnered with the Chinese community and Miss Lupita Kwan from Belize City to make the much-needed donation to the health facility in the village. Administrator Janine Gabriel and Dr. Rayford Rancharan received the donation on behalf of the polyclinic. And there will be much more news after the break, so stay tuned.
Hello? Okay, sure, I'll be there.
Hi, Mommy. When are you coming home? I really miss you.
Hearing the voice of our loved ones can always lift our spirits and make us feel whole again. With Smart's twice as nice promotion, prepaid customers who make 5 minutes worth of national calls on Sundays can enjoy 50% off. Top double on all national calls for the rest of the day. Call your loved ones and enjoy half off all day long. Smart, bringing people together.
Hola, Tony.
Hey, Kevin, ¿qué onda? ¿Qué pasa?
Nada, le vine a buscar porque necesito comprar más mercancías de vasos y platos desechables para mi tienda de comestible. Me estoy quedando sin esas cosas.
No, hombre, fíjate que desde el 15 de abril no puedo importar nada de eso. Y se me acaba de terminar todo lo que tenía hace como 3 semanas.
Oye, pero nunca has estado sin esas cosas. ¿Qué está pasando?
Mira esto. Esta es la nueva ley que prohíbe todo el uso de plásticos no reutilizables. Esos son vasos, platos, cucharas, tenedores, todo eso. Desde 15 de abril de este año no he podido importar nada de eso. A partir del 15 de enero del 2021 nadie puede fabricarlo. 15 de abril 2021 nadie lo puede vender. Y a partir del 14 de julio del 2021 si alguien te agarra con eso, te multan.
Híjole, no sabía eso. Necesito cambiar algunas cosas. Les diré a mis clientes por qué esas cosas ya no están disponibles. Gracias, Antonio.
Así es, cuídate.
As one of the largest cable and internet providers in Belize, CBC strives to provide our customers with the highest standards of quality, value, and service in all aspects of cable TV and internet. Monitoring our systems closely, our technicians combine creative planning and state-of-the-art technology with years of experience and training to develop and provide the most reliable and advanced cable and internet service to exceed your expectations. For CBC and our team of talented engineers, technicians, and customer service representatives, delivering less than the very best is never an option.
It's been some time since we've reported on arrests due to breaking curfew and other quarantine regulations. Yet, even as the COVID-19 numbers decline, the Belize Police Department and the Ministry of Health and Wellness continues to stress the importance of strict adherence to the COVID-19 regulations. According to Compal Chester Williams, all across the country, some Belizeans are still acting recklessly.
Some people just are behaving as if COVID-19 has come and gone. We're seeing that some restaurants are hosting guests inside. They're having inside dining. And for the most part, these restaurants are fully closed up under air conditioning. We're seeing that there are many advertisements going around where different places are advertising events. If a matter of fact, we also have learned that there are some restaurants that are renting out their places to host birthday parties, baby showers, and other social gathering. These things are things that should not be occurring. Some places are advertising island hopping on boats. And even in the advertisement that they put out, it clearly states that drinks will be available. And I noticed that the amount being charged varies. It goes from a smaller package to a medium package and then to a large package, where I think the large packages, I think was $175. It says that all drinks inclusive. So again, it shows that they are promoting a social event. I don't know if they believe that because they are on a boat, that they are not committing an offense.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.